What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another workout video. We're in the gym today and we are going to be hitting those abs, lots of core strength, and of course we are also going to be hitting the booty. You're going to need two bands just for variety, but if you have a heavy or a medium band, I'd say carry them both just in case. You might want to switch up because the burn is going to be very real. So let's get started. For this workout, we're going to start with some lateral walks. Whatever length your room is, maybe try to aim for 20 or 30. You're going to put the medium band on right above the knees and lateral walk one direction from one end of the room to the other. So if your gym is too small or you'd rather just stay in one place, you can lateral walk just for like the length of your mat, 2 to 3 steps one way, 2 to 3 steps back the other way. All in all, aim for 30 to 40 steps total for your first set and for the 2 sets afterwards. So some key points: keeping your core tight, keeping your shoulders back, shoulder blades down, and posture as upright as you can. Make sure you're not hunching your shoulders or curving your back, and you also don't want to sit your booty back too far because we'll end up sinking into the lower back too much. So just breathe with it and embrace that burn that's building up on your hips. After we do our lateral walks for 3 sets, you're going to take your heavier band. I highly recommend a heavy band for this just because it's a small movement. You're going to put it just above the knees so we have as much resistance as possible, and having a weight is optional. You can hold a 5 or 10 pound dumbbell. I'm just grabbing a 6 pound medicine ball here, and we're going to get into a half squat and work the core and the glutes. We're going to lift the arms and push each leg back. So all you're doing here is pushing back on each foot, like the ball of your foot, and squeezing into the glute as you bear your weight into the front leg. Breathe with each movement in a nice smooth inhaling and exhaling pattern. So inhale, and exhale as you push the legs back or hold the arms up. So of course, if your arms are getting tired or this is just too much for you today, if you're a little worn out or you worked your arms yesterday, you can just hold the weight close to you. You can also do this without a weight and move your arms up and down as well. If you're not holding a weight, keep your arms as straight as possible and really focus on extending and crunching into your core every time your arms come down. Here's another view. You can see if I'm not using any weights, or if you decide to, take it to the easiest version, you just have your arms out in front. I recommend having the elbows up and extended like this because it forces you to tuck in the end of your rib cage and kind of focus on tightening the center of your core, because we do want to hit both the core and the glutes here for this exercise. And another view here for our last set, just so you can see my belly button is pulling to my spine, my collarbones are open, chest is not hunching forward, and I'm keeping my shoulders back, and I'm not straightening my legs. We're staying in a half squat the entire time. So we're working a lot of muscles here. We're working about 3 or 4 different muscle groups, so this is going to burn and this is going to elevate your heart rate quite a bit, but I love this exercise and I think it's great for when you're focusing on glutes and core strength for a workout. Okay, so we're really going to get into the abs. We're going to get deep into those abdominals. You're going to take your medium or your heavy, not your extra heavy band if you do have more on the heavier side bands. Whichever band you have that is of the least resistance, you're going to take that and put it right above your knees. We want to rest back on our elbows and we're going to bicycle the feet. You can see the amount of reps right here on the side of the screen that you're supposed to be doing. And we're going to bicycle the legs, keeping our chest open, elevating. Again, we're not curving the top of our back. We're not sinking into our shoulders, keeping the neck long and focusing on pulling from your hip flexors so that inner layer or that inner wall of the lower part of your core stays engaged. Remember to breathe, keep breathing, and next part, we're just going to butterfly the legs. Staying in the same position. If you have some crazy core strength or you took some pre-workout and you're really feeling strong and capable today, then I recommend even testing out your balance and letting your arms float forward. I'm skipping that version today though. Of course, we have 2 more sets. I feel like I wanted a little bit more fire, so if you would like to up the resistance on your band, if you have a stronger band, let's get the stronger band on. You're gonna tuck that belly button right in, vacuum that core as much as you can, lift your legs, and we're gonna bicycle again. Little adjustment there. It might slide down a little bit, but we wanna make sure that the band is staying right above the knees. Nice smooth breath. Needed a quick break there, and then we're gonna get right back up, straighten those legs, and let's butterfly. Just showing you from another angle what this exercise looks like. So as you can see, I'm not leaning back too far. I am using my hands to support myself, but I'm not using it to the point where I'm depending solely on my arms to keep me up. I am really C-curving into my back as much as I can, keeping my core strength really tight. And it's mostly my core that's being used to support me. So I could float my hands up at any time, but I'm just using my palms to keep myself balanced. That's more or less the sweet spot you want to be with this exercise. You don't want to be dependent on your hands, but you just want a little bit of support there so you don't fall to either the left or the right. Now we're moving on to one of my favorites, just a basic glute kickback. This variation with the band is great if you don't have a cable cross machine available at home or in your gym. So just put the heavy band or the heaviest band that you have right above the knees, and you're gonna stand facing forward. You're not gonna bend forward too much. You wanna stay as upright as you can, and you're gonna kick back with the heel. I personally like to have the leg that's extending back turned out slightly, because not only does that help incorporate, the main glute muscle in the back, but it gets into my hips a little bit more. And if you are trying to build out the muscle structure on your hips as well, to add a little bit more curve, a little bit more oomph to your hips, then having your feet turned out definitely helps. Next thing is a single leg squat. You're just gonna bring the knee in and donkey kick back. So we're not extending the leg now, we're donkey kicking it back. Imagine there's a string attached to your ankle or protruding from your heel, and you're pulling that foot to the back of the room, squeezing now into the top of the glutes, and that constant bending is really getting into that standing leg glute muscle. So everything is burning on the backside, the hamstrings on that standing leg, the glute on that standing leg, maybe a little bit of the quad, and definitely the entire cheek on the other side is probably on fire now. So I love this superset combo. And right after this, we're moving straight to the other side without any breaks in between, and we got to do it all 3 times. So I know staying upright, especially when doing these leg extensions in any variation, even the donkey kick, can be difficult, but you want to try your hardest to keep good posture and stay as upright as you can and as much as your range of motion allows, because you really get a nicer contraction when you're able to just depend on the glute to lift the leg rather than how far you're leaning forward to lift that leg for you. So I'm just showing some different angles so you can see for posture, and you can see how my leg is turned out a little bit there. But all in all, you should have done 3 sets of 20 to 30 reps for each leg for each exercise. So that's the extension, and immediately into these little squat pulses with the kickback. You definitely want more than 20 reps per side to really get that burn in there. Getting back into the abs, we're gonna grab a weight or no weight at all, because you can do this without a weight. I'm grabbing that 6-pound medicine ball because I feel like that's just the right for me today. Get your legs into a tabletop position and get your lower back sticking to whatever surface you can. So a lot of core strength here. And we're just gonna lower each leg and then both together at the same time. This is like a moderate intermediate version of this exercise. Your arms aren't moving, you're just doing left, right, and then both legs at the same time. But if you are wanting to take it up a notch and really burn out your midsection today, then you can do the arms and the legs at the same time, and that will be demonstrated in just a moment here, when I had my moments where I was like, you know what, it's not burning quite enough for me, I really want to take it up a notch. And here we go. So get yourself into kind of like a hollow hold position when your legs and your arms go back. Very important to keep your head and shoulders as lifted as you can. Really helps keep the lower back pasted to the floor or to the bench that you're on. And keep your chin tucked to your chest just so you minimize as much neck strain as possible. You already know it, we have 3 sets of these, so on to the second set. You're gonna do the same thing again. So here, if you did like an intermediate version before, you can definitely go for the full advanced version here, keeping energy through the feet, flexing those feet if you can. Right, left, and then inhale, open, exhale, closed. Staying really, really nice and focused and keeping the body as still as you can. All that's moving here are your legs and your arms, but it's definitely the abs that is feeling all of the pressure and the pain. Here is a variation if you have trouble keeping your lower back down, if you just don't quite have the core strength yet to maintain that posture while you're doing this exercise. You can put your hands underneath your hips, you can use a pillow or a yoga block, and of course there's the option for no weight at all. This next move is going to be a great alternative if you don't have a hip abduction machine at your gym. It's just important that you're not sitting on a chair or a bench that is too low or too high. You don't want your knees to be too high above your hips or too low. So I'm just gonna put myself on the edge of the bench right here. Getting up on your tippy toes really helps get into the piriformis. You're gonna want to pull your belly button in, tighten the core, and we're just gonna pulse out with the band. Depending on how you're feeling right now, you might be back down to a medium or just a regular heavy, but if you're sticking with me, you got that extra heavy band, and we're pulsing back for at minimum 25 reps. I pushed for 30 today, and at the end of the set, you're going right into a little mini superset and you're gonna pulse. So let's move the band a little bit higher and we're gonna pulse it out for another 20 to 30 reps. And remember, you have to repeat this 3 times. So be very selective of the band that you're using and just pace yourself. But I love this exercise. It's an exercise up for debate in the fitness community whether it works or not for developing the glutes, but I think that working the piriformis and developing that muscle is what partly gives that nice booty shelf, if you will. So if you're trying to build up your shelf, this is one that I highly recommend. Just another view of the same exercise. So this is when I was doing my second set. So this is just to show you from the side what the alignment of my lower back is and how far I'm leaning forward. Don't lean back too much, of course, and don't lean forward too much, because if you don't have very open hip sockets, you could end up kind of overextending your hips. So move the band up and we're going to pulse it out again. We're on the very last set now. By now your glutes should be very, very tired. I've slowed down this last set in particular because I've kind of gotten into the habit of using my last set as an opportunity to max out my muscles and really push them to their limits, especially if I'm not doing any heavy weights or any huge amounts of interval training or cardio. I really like to take my time with body weight and resistance, especially on the last set. And now we're going to move the band a little bit higher. We're going to bend forward a little bit more and pulse it out. And feel free to pulse to failure. Safe to say that killed me. My glutes were burning, complete just fire everywhere back there, and definitely a very satisfying end to a booty and ab workout. That is the workout, everybody. Doesn't take too long. I hope you followed along with me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you return for the next workout. Send this video to somebody who's looking for something a little new, who needs a little motivation, someone who has been wanting to experiment with working with mini bands. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below if you like this video, and give me suggestions on what other workout you would like to try. I love hearing from you, and I appreciate you working out with me in the gym today. Have a great day, everybody, and see you in the next one.